All right, cool. All right, so once you guys got those accounts created, we're going to jump into Retell AI and just kind of give a brief overview on it. That way, you guys are a little bit more familiar with it. One of the reasons I like Retell is because it's not too confusing or crazy. If you can kind of see it, it's pretty simply laid out. You got your agents over here. You got your knowledge base, phone numbers, batch calls. Again, don't worry, we'll get into all this stuff or the stuff that you only are really going to need from the start. Then as you grow and evolve and get smart with all this stuff, it's pretty easy to figure out. You got your call history, chat history, analytics, your billing and settings. Obviously don't need to go into any of that stuff, right? So the first thing that we're going to do is just create your first agent, right? This is how you're going to create a demo that you can start playing with. Whether you're going into like the plumbing industry, it doesn't matter the industry that you're in. The same formula that we create, as you can see, I've got tons of different agents that I've built. They all kind of follow the same thing until you start getting into like multi-prompts or conversational agents. Right now, we don't need to do all that stuff. Eventually, as you start doing more complex build outs for clients, yeah, that's when you'll start looking at it. For now, yeah, we don't need that stuff. So up here in the top right, if you have a template, you can import or you can create an agent. You got your chat agent or your voice agent. We're going to start with voice. Don't let this scare you. This is super simple. What you need to look at, though, are the 4 different types of agents that you can select from. Conversational flow agent, multi-prompt. These two are a lot more advanced. We're just going to keep it very simple and select the single prompt agent right here. And they do have like templates that you can choose from. We're going to start from blank just so you guys know how to build these from the ground up. Okay, so you're going to click create. It's going to bring you to this page right here. I'm going to move this over here. So right in this box is where the prompt is going to go. Up here is where you have, some of the settings that you'll look at. You've got your agent ID. We'll get into that in a little bit, or in a different video, actually, sorry. Your Retell LLM ID. So when I said in the previous video, you need to set up your OpenAI account. This is how you tie in your large language model, which that's what OpenAI is. All these AI platforms are just large language models. If you want more on that, you can Google search it or ask ChatGPT or something, right? Up here, you can kind of see the costs that are going to be involved. We'll get into that a little bit later as well, but this is super valuable because this is kind of how you calculate what it's going to cost for your clients based upon kind of the call volume that they're going to be working with, right? So don't need to worry about that too much right now. And then your latency, basically that just means how fast it takes for me to talk to the agent to go to the LLM, to go through the knowledge base, like all this stuff that's happening in the back end is your latency, right? So different platforms have different latency. Retell was rated, I think, at like, one of the top 3. Over time, that will matter. Right now, it doesn't matter at all, right? And then your tokens, yeah, this is important as well. Basically, you get charged, your 0.045 cents a minute for the base LLM pricing, which is right here. You can kind of select the model that you want to use. By default, it's doing the GPT 4.1. It's very smart. You don't need to do anything too crazy. But as AI evolves, obviously, we're already up at GPT 5.2. You can select this if you need a super advanced smart model. But if you scroll through here, you can kind of see that they have all the different ones listed that I talked about in the last video, right? Your Gemini, Claude, or ChatGPT, right? Don't let this confuse you right now. We just keep everything on 4.1. And then, as you get a little bit more advanced and you'll start kind of testing different models. I'm going between GPT 4.1 and then also Gemini. And so far, so good. I haven't tested Claude yet, but I'm sure it's pretty solid. So, all right. So this is where your prompting is going to go. This is kind of the instructions that you give the voice agent. We'll get into that in a little bit. There's templates out there that we'll provide. And then you can just adjust them based upon how you need it. Down here is just how you kind of select how the welcome message goes. Do you want the person to say hello and then the AI starts talking, or do you want to do like a custom message where AI speaks first, where it's, hey, this is Nate with Elons of AI, just calling about this, yada yada, or how can I help you today? That's why you're kind of configured those settings right here. This is where it gets a little bit more technical, but don't let it confuse you. The reason that we like Retell is because they have, well, all of these have functions basically that the agent calls, right? So just to kind of give you guys an idea on some simple functions that you'll do is like your agent will check the calendar availability. If you haven't heard of cal.com, they natively integrate with Retell, and your cal.com calendar can connect to your Google Calendar, yada, yada. But this just makes it super easy. Cal.com, you can create a free account. But yeah, let's say your agent needs to check if there's something available for tomorrow at 3 p.m. You just kind of click this and give it some of the instructions on what it needs to do. Don't let this, yeah, like I said, we'll get into the technical stuff later. But yeah, you can kind of see the things that you can choose from here. Knowledge base, basically you can train the agent on a knowledge base so that it can use that when it's communicating with like potential customers or whoever the agent's on the phone with. And I'll show you guys how to do that in a different one. This is cool. Like you can type in the website and just have it crawl the entire website, so it has all the information it needs. So if you have a client that has, you know, specific hours that they're open and closed, the knowledge base, that's included right there. And then that way the agent just knows, yeah, we're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or here's the services that we provide. Yeah, super simple. Speech settings, you don't really play with these too much in the beginning, so I'm not going to complicate it. But you can do some cool things like put a background sound in there, you know, whatever. Yeah, you don't really play with these a whole lot. I know other people might say otherwise, but right from the get-go, yeah, don't let that complicate things for you. Real-time transcription settings, pretty self-explanatory. We don't get in this too much, but we will in some more technical videos. Call settings, voicemail detection. If the agent detects a voicemail, it can either leave a voicemail, hang it up. Keypad input detection. So if you know, click 1 for this or enter the last 4 of your social, click this, whatever. Probably not a good example to use for the social because that's private information that we'll get into in another video. Post call analysis or data extraction. So after you're done with the call, basically this is kind of where it pulls everything from it, and then it sends it to like a Google Sheet or a CRM, so that if you ever need to go back and look at how the call went, you can do that. Security and fallback settings. Yeah, you can kind of just read through these, and it's just extra layers of protection. And then your webhook, we will be using these. Webhooks are initially just how one software communicates to the other, right? How Retell communicates to N8N, how N8N sends that information that you got from the call on Retell into GHL or their CRM. Again, a little bit more advanced stuff, but this is something that you're definitely going to need to know about. And I'll show you guys exactly what you need to know about. And then MCPs, yeah, we're definitely not going to get into this right this second. This is a little way more advanced, but extra layers of security for you, which you definitely want. There's a lot more that MCPs can do, but like I said, we're not gonna complicate it right now. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Like I said, we'll get into the promptings and stuff right here in a different video. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.